guys, we're back again. It's been a while, I know. I apologize for not having done anything for a little while, but it's that time of month again. The big green bag has arrived, even though it looks slightly yellow on there. It's asset drop time, and I've had this for the last 3 days. Really looking forward to getting into it. So let's just cut it open really badly. Get inside here to all the goodness. Now, I haven't got a clue what's in it this month, but I have got a couple of friends who have received theirs as well, and they're very happy with it this month, so I'm keen to see what we've got. I have got my usual paintbrush at the side, ready to test everything out. So, up top, we have our usual bit and piece. Our painting guide, probably one of the best things in an asset drop. Always really useful. Andy, fantastic guy, and knows how to write as well. So, peeling back the black paper. And what we got this time? Ooh, straight away. Sweeties again. Tutti Frutti Chew Bar. Don't mind if I do, thank you very much. And on the very top, True Metal. This is one of the wax ones, I do believe, from AK Interactive. True Metal Steel. Yeah, it's a coloured wax that you can polish to get an ultra-realistic metal finish. So that's going to be interesting to see. I did bring some black paper with me as well, so we can give that a go in a minute. But I've not had these before, although I have been keenly looking into them. So it looks like a little oil paint tray, and it is, yep, I was right, it's a coloured wax. Can be applied with a brush and polish it to an ultra realistic finish. So we'll give that one a go in a little bit. Oh now this is fantastic. I use this a lot. You might have seen it in one of my, or in the painting tutorial I did. The ultimate weathering washes. I use the Dark Dirt a lot as a general panel liner. It tones down my colours, stops them being cartoony. It's really easy to use. Clay based, so that if you make any mistakes, you can go back to it and change it, get rid of it, and start again if you need to, just by using water. And then when it's finished, just seal it and away you go. But I've not used the light dirt before, but I am really happy to get this. I absolutely adore the ultimate stuff. I can't recommend that highly enough, but we'll give that one a go in a bit as well. We have another trio of paints from MRP, and I think these are going to be really useful at the minute. Now, we've got a Swamp Green, which is sort of like a very pale olive drab colour, which is really good because I'm going to be doing a lot of work with the Conquest magazine Primaris Marines and doing them in the Raptors Legion. So we need a really good olive drab for them, sort of US military green. And that looks like it's going to be a very nice highlight colour. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. I think this is going to be an undead set. Yep. Because we've got the purple shadow as well for bruising and for shading in green, because purple and green, purple shades green really well because they're almost opposite on the color wheel. So yep, that's going to be nice. And undead skin. So yeah, I was right for painting your zombies, and again, good for the Conquest magazine stuff as well, because you've got your Death Guard in there, and you've got an awful lot of Poxwalkers. So the dead skin could come in very useful. And then these little aqua colours. Now, I got these a few years ago and really liked them. I love the pots. The pots are quite clever because they give you a built-in palette. So we've got a Gunship Grey, a Light Grey, and a Tar Black. All mattes, good, because the glosses can be a little bit funny, and they go through an airbrush phenomenally well. Really, really, really well. So there's not that much in this month's, but what there is really, actually really nice. So let's take a look first of all. Now, the one thing I didn't bring this time was something to polish this with. So bear with me 2 seconds. I thought I was prepared, but asset drop did it to me again. I've just got a spare piece of scrap tissue from a previous product, or project, should I say. And let's take a look at this true metal wax. So, as you can see, it's very creamy. It comes out of the tube very, 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 very quickly. Super fine pigment, as in to the point where I can't actually see any of the glitteriness that you usually get from that. So on a black base, you can see, oh, that will spread really nicely. So coverage on that will be fantastic. And even if you use it almost like a dry brush to pick out edgewise, you can see there, it will stretch a long, long way. And then apparently you just, when it's on the model, you can buff it to quite a good shine. Like, I have over buffed it, but then again, I've only just got it out of the tube for the very first time. But you can see there the reflectiveness of that. That is a really nice steel. So I can see that being used on things like night chassis, larger projects rather than the usual ones you would think of, because it's a wax-based product, so it's going to be a little harder to control. Grab a cleaner brush, right, and we'll take a look at the other pieces we've got, which I think will go well on our white paper this time. So very, very, very happy with that. So that's the AK steel, true metal steel, and I've always wanted to try them but never got round to it. Now I want to see how much lighter this dark dirt is, or this light dirt is, to what I'm used to using. So it's a very, very, very liquid wash, and it's not too bad. I can see using this to shade Undead Skin. It's got a very, very slight green hint to it, but as an earth shade, that is actually very, very nice. So again, water-based. If you're like me, you're a brush licker, it's not going to kill you. I can't, for health and safety reasons, recommend brush licking, but that's what most of us do anyway. Okay, moving on to the MRP stuff. Now, I haven't tried putting the MRP through an airbrush yet, but I've heard good things. We'll just give a little spot out. Now, it's a little gel-like. The medium on it stretches and strings out, almost like the gel-based mediums. Very smooth. No graininess to it whatsoever. Decent coverage. And again, don't forget this is an absorbent piece of paper, so, and it's a very subdued purple. It's not too intense. It's not too cartoony. Again, it's meant to be a shade color, I think, and it would do very well for normal skin tones as well. Just giving that extra little bit of blue to the skin tone. This is the Undead Flesh one. So again, very gel-like. I'm not sure if this is a gel-based medium in there or not. Now this one possibly better on the black paper here. So just dip this through for you here, and over black it covers not too badly. It would take a few layers to go on, but then again, it's not meant to be a final color like the GW layer paints. I would say a few coats of this will cover well. and it is your typical creamy gray, creamy green skin tone. So yeah, not too bad. Now the swamp green, I am interested in. Um, we'll try this on both the white and the black. So on the white, a little drop on the black, just to see what the coverage is like on here. So yeah, that's a very nice olive drab. Very well, exactly swampy. It's got that brown, rotted vegetable matter color to it. Covers quite well. And on black, it's a little bit more opaque. Oh, sorry, translucent. I think the opposite way around there for a change. Right, so, yep, that actually, again, goes on not too badly. Quite like these. So yeah, the MRPs, these are one of the more regular paints that you get through the asset drop stuff. They seem to like their MRP stuff. And I can see why. They're really, really nice. The colours are quite vivid, and some of them are a bit unusual as well. Now, let's go to the Aquacolor. Now, the Aquacolor is opening them at the first time. If you don't know what you're doing, you're trying to pop them over like normal. You don't. These are twist caps. So you twist them, and as you can see, I've not shaken this up yet, but the lids are triangular. So I'll give this a quick shake. You always give your paints a shake. But on the front of the bottle, you got a little tab. So this also helps your paint pot from falling over, because you clip the two of them together, the lid clips to the bottom, and you have your little paint palette ready to paint from the lid rather from the bottle. Now, it's not an ideal solution to a problem that doesn't really exist that much, as your paint here will be drying out most of the time. I will decant this out onto a palette myself, but I will say that these do cover really well. You can see there that that's very, very strong, very heavy pigment, but again, will go through an airbrush really, really, really nicely. And on the grey, or sorry, on the black, you can see just how well, compared to the MRP. The MRP, you can see the black through it, whereas with this, that's pretty solid. So, the Rebel, this stuff is actually very underrated. I keep seeing it in bargain bins, and especially in places like the larger WH Smiths that have the model zone, or that when they took over model zone, and they still have a model section at the back. We've got one near us at Meadowhall in Sheffield, and they're always on sale there. But I think it's because Revel for a long time their paints weren't the greatest. Now, however, oh, I do like that. Very nice pale grey, and straight over the top of itself. Nice. Now, it's not been shaken up too well, but even then, straight from the pot, lovely and opaque. Good, strong coverage. That's almost one coat coverage for most things. So yeah, really nice. They're, as I say, I personally find them highly underrated. Even amongst the military modelers, they're not one of the usual ones you'll see on the shelf a lot. And of course, they're tar black. Now let's see if this is very much different from a normal black. Now stuff like the Minotaur Raven black is more of a dark grey, just like this. Now this has a greeny grey tint to it. It's not a true black. Now on the camera it'll probably show up pretty much as a true black. And it doesn't show up too well on there that it's not. But it does actually have a very slight dark green tint to it. So I can see that being very useful for tires and landing gear, um, pipes, hose pipes again on stuff like the Imperial Knight. And if I stretch it out a little, you might be able to pick up a little of that greenish-ness on there. So a very, very, very dark green. So that, if you're going to be um, blacklining stuff like Death Guard or any of your other Nurgle stuff, instead of using a pure black, using a dark green or a black green like this will keep the rest of the colors coherent for you. So this month, that is not a bad little haul. We've got 3 base paints, or 3 basic paints, including the ones with the built-in little palette. One of these new true metals. Again, this is the best thing about asset drop. It's stuff that we might never have seen, we never have used before. This true metal I've looked at, but I've never got round to buying because I didn't really need it. And I suppose a lot of the time you don't know if you need it until you've tried it, whether it'll give you the effects that you're looking for or not. With asset drop, they will just give you things that you might have seen in other places but never got round to getting. And it gives you the opportunity to try it. And it's quite fun to be able to get a Christmas present every month. Anyway, let's take a look at going through the little Discovery painting guide. So, he's saying he's never featured the UMP before, the Ultimate Modeling Products, which are one of the nicest additions to any of the asset drop boxes so far. These are phenomenal. As I say, I swear by the Dark Dirt. That is an all-in-one weathering product. It does streaking for you. It does panel lining. This is a less stark version of it by the looks of it. So I'm looking forward to giving this a try. And then we'll be seeing what else have we got now. Right, okay. So the Mr. Paint. So the MRP is Mr. Paint brand. These are £2.50 a piece. So we got Purple Shadow, Swamp Green, Undead Flesh, and they're from Slovakia. So they do their military and fantasy paints. And as I said, Purple Shadow works great for bruising beneath damaged skin, and the 2 greens are great for rotting flesh. And they come in dropper, what they call fantastic dropper bottles. I'm not a massive fan of the dropper bottles. I prefer a little bit of a nozzle on mine, but they're really nice anyway. The UMP light dirt weathering wash is $5.99 and worth every penny of it. There's 9 different colors for it. You can paint it on, wipe it away, and it just leaves it on little cracks and crevices. You can use it also as a weathering wash for cloaks and things like that, just putting it around the edge of it. Because it's a clay base, it's really, really nice. And then we've got the Revel Aquas. So those are £2.40 a piece. And let's say they've been around 60 years. These have been Revel, long established company in the hobby, starting over 60 years ago. Producing some of the first plastic model kits in the industry. Right, so they are the paints, as I say, are very underrated. If you can get your hands on a few of them, they're usually really cheap. They're really, really high quality, and they're very, very durable as well. I use them on a lot of wargaming miniatures, and they never chip. I never have that issue with them. That's me personally, though. Finally, the interactive True Metal Steel. So that is £5.20. So this one is new for me, definitely. They're although they're newer into the scene than Revel, they've risen to dominance among scale modelers. I have had a couple of their books, which are mentioned here as well. Their magazine, which looks expensive, but it's a monthly or quarterly Bible of weathering techniques, and it is phenomenal. And he says that their incredible range of true metallics, which creates some of the most beautiful metallics he's ever seen. So, tutorial-wise, this month we have painting zombie flesh using the Mr. Paint range. So the base color, its base color is a purple shadow mix. So for a second I thought he was just basing the purple. Okay, that's a bit odd, but yeah. So how to layer up to give you a really vivid. That's a bit more vivid than I would usually go, but looks really nice. It's almost like an aquatic zombie. So very, very nice. And then the final one brings it all, tones it all back down. These tutorial guides are absolutely amazing. Andy knows his stuff. I can't say that enough times. He really knows what he's doing. Then we've got a tutorial basically from a different painter. Is it this one from Andy? No, it's not. Mark Shucksmith Wesley. I have not seen him before. Apparently he's the resident painter for Asset Drop, and this is zombie, and then painting black armor as well. So black armor can be one of those ones that trips people up a lot, and starting from that tar black, that's a really good idea because it's not a full black. If you start off with a true black, you've not really got many places to go. A lot of the time I paint my blacks with a black and a white undercoat, and then I'll use the Minotaur Ghost Tints over the top of them as well to give them a highlighted black look. So using these is going to be interesting. A gunship grey to layer over it. And it's not a true black, it's more like a very dark grey with the edge highlights look a little stark. But again, the stark highlight can accentuate the black itself. So that could be quite nice. And then different ways of using the true metal. So it says here, paint medium is a wax-based formula. Use enamel thinners to thin it or to clean your brushes. So I have to pull out my enamel thinners in a minute. It's got a long drying time, 1 or 2 hours per coat, and then leave it for 24 hours for polishing. That's why it'll have streaked off my paper for me. Coverage, very good coverage, even over awkward colors, and it can be polished for a very effectively post-drying. So it gives you step-by-step instructions on how to use the stuff. Let's see there. So even tips on what to do if you add too much. Being careful to leave it a little while longer than or quite a bit longer than you might be used to. Pardon me. And then down to polishing it. So it gives you the examples of polished versus non-polished. So you can, if you over polish it, you can tear up the paint and give yourself a bit of a scratched look, which again, if you're doing weathering, could be very, very, very useful. And weathering wash tutorial from Andy himself. So it's always good to see Andy in a magazine. Again, although it says long drying time, 1 to 2 hours between coats. Now, in my experience with the dark dirt, usually about 15-20 minutes and it's ready to be worked with. But I'll put it on quite heavy, but not too bad, not too much, and just leave it to the side, continue on with something else and go back to it. It does mean that being clay based as well does mean that you can go back and forward with it. You can get the effects that you want. You can move the wash around. You can take it off areas that you don't want it on. And here he's doing it over a stone house roof. And how to get some very nice streaking on there. Really, really nice. So you can get your streaking. You can get your shade recess washes. You can get your random patchiness of built up dirt and grime. So yeah, that is really nice. So this month, our painting guide is normal. A very nice zombie set from Mr. Paint, or MRP, depending on which way you want to call it. Ultimate Weathering Wash and True Metallic Metal Steel, which I would say are the true gems of this this month's offerings. And the very underrated Rebel paints. As I say, they're usually really cheap to pick up. The bottle is one of the most unique ones I've seen out there. I've not seen anything else where you can clip the bottle lid to the bottle and use it as a palette. For quick color changes, if you're setting up a specific, if you're doing wet blending or anything else, that can be very, very useful. Instead of having to decant it out, I would still decant it out onto a little plastic or paper palette. I get all my palettes from the works at the minute because they're only £1 a piece and they're really nice little palettes. But I am so happy to get these two. The True Metal I've been after for quite a while, but just couldn't justify getting because I didn't have a project that would need something like this, or that I'd be willing to risk on something that I don't know. Now I've got this. If I don't like it, it can sit in a drawer. I can use it from time to time if I need to. If it doesn't do what I think it'll do, or it doesn't do what I want to, I don't feel too bad because it's come in one of these asset drops with lots of other stuff that I will use. So for me, it's a non-risk product. I can use it on some old pieces of scrap plastic or some old pieces of scenery and see how it looks, polished. If I like it, I'll be able to buy more. And then, of course, this, as I say. They're not that expensive. You get a lot in a bottle. I'm not sure exactly how big this is. Hold on, 2 seconds. It's a 50ml bottle. And that'll do you quite a few models. I think, if you bear with me a second... Yes, I do. Now, this is a work in progress at the minute, but you can see the dark and grimy effect of the dark dirt. And setting over metal, it looks like old, weathered, it's where dirt has accumulated on the oil, on the metal. It's panel lined everything for me, but it's also given me that random dirty look. And when it's done and it's highlighted up and everything else is on there, it's a really, really effective weathering solution. So that's the dark dirt. So where that can be quite intense and it suits orcs because orcs I don't think know how to wash. But I say that's still a work in progress. I might even use some of that True Metal to polish up just the edges of these. Let's take a look. I've still got a little on my brush here, and we'll see how that. Yeah, that's actually. Now, as I'm noticing here, as it's dried on my brush, it turns to a metal flake. So be aware of that at the time. But it does sharpen up the edges quite nicely. Yeah, that is really nice actually. And putting it over the pistons, it's a very, very natural polished steel look on there. Let's see, so you can see there, quite dull. I'll just do a quick brush over. And this is just a straight, what was left on the brush after the test. So very, very, very little. And you can see how bright that has brought that right up. And there is no flake at all in that. If you've been painting for a while, you'll know what I mean about the flake. With metallic paints, a lot of the time, the pigment is so big that it looks like a glitter ball, like you've dipped your model in glitter. Where this, it's just really creamy. going on, really smooth. And the fact that you can polish it up afterwards, it makes a big difference. Sorry, it's not quite in focus there, but it is there. Right, so you can see that polishes up, and it takes that was just what was left on the brush. You know, even running it across paper, I'm barely seeing anything coming across the paper. So, as a dry brush highlight, a dry brush accent, it's better than the GW dry paints. Those things are horrible, absolutely horrible. But yes, I can see that looks really nice. It gives a very sharp edge, no smearing, no streaking. Right, I will be buying more true metallic metals then. So, Andy, if you're watching this, thank you. That is a really nice addition to my arsenal for just weathering up my metals. And as some of you might have gathered, I love weathering. I love anything I paint to be grungy and well used and realistic looking. I originally came from a scale modeling background and came into wargaming a long time ago, but still brought all the things over to try and make things look as real world as possible. And yeah, that metallic steel is going to be beautiful for pistons, for accents. I don't know about using it on larger pieces until I've actually tried it a few times and got some confidence up on it. I don't know about that, but yeah, really, really nice. Really, really appreciate all the effort that these guys go into every month. Now, I'm not sponsored by them at all, and if it isn't, you know, the one thing I will always say on the channel is that if it's crap, I'll tell you. Simple as. If it's something I don't like, I won't use. One of the weirdest things Asset Drop I've ever brought out was this little weathering pen, which I think is a good few months ago yet, and I still haven't worked out exactly what I'm going to use it for. But again, you get these sort of little odd things in the Asset Drop. I've yet to come across something I really dislike. That's being 100% honest. Everything so far from Asset Drop, except possibly the the blue pearl or blue metallic pigment from last month. I can't really find a use for it. That's my personal opinion. It's something very niche. It would probably go very well for the mecha modelers out there, but I can't seem to think of a use for it. I've played with it, I've looked around at it, and it's just not for me. But that was one product out of the entire box. The pearlescent medium, brilliant. Everything else, really good. One thing out of a year's worth of boxes nearly now, I can't say that I'm disappointed. If you are interested in Asset Drop, go to the website. They only have the subscriptions open for a few days at the end of every month because they need to get they need to shut it down so that they can buy in all the extra products that are needed so they can make up these boxes for you. So get onto them if you need to. They're on Facebook as well. Message Andy. Let him know that you're interested in signing up for it, and he'll message you back, usually when the subscriptions reopen again for the month. They've got 2 other boxes at the minute, which is the Heroines box, which is similar to this, except you don't get as many paints, but you do get a miniature, at least one miniature, a base, and another little guide that walks you through the project in there and paints that'll match that project. And then, which I haven't tried that myself yet, or their big one, which is only every 2 months, is their monster, which is you get a large miniature base, again for that, and the paints to paint it up. Take a look on their website. They have got some past boxes that they've done, so you can actually take a look and see what you think. Again, very reasonably priced, and it's always nice to get that little surprise once a month with stuff that you didn't know you were gonna, you didn't know that you ever needed. Like this, I can see this lasting for a long, long, long time. And I can see it being very, 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 very useful. So, anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there because I've been wittering on for quite a while now. We will be back with a couple more videos this month. I've got some Custodes weapon upgrades to unbox and the new Venetaris to do as well. And I have a couple of new things being sent over to me from Badger. So I've got some Steinel Res primers on there and a brand new product. At least I think it is. I've only seen one unboxing of this or review of this online before. It's a new set of paints called the Metalsmith. So you can do your custom paints and things there as well. But we will try and get those up in the next few days. Until then, whatever you're doing, have a good one. Have a really good weekend. And again, don't be afraid of it. Just keep doing it. Okay? Talk to you soon. Bye.